Hey there! Welcome to Learn Fluent English Pod. I'm Emily, and I'm super excited you're here today. If you're looking to improve your English listening and speaking skills, you're absolutely in the right place. Before we dive into today's fascinating topic, let me tell you how this podcast will help you. This is a listening practice podcast, which means I'll be speaking naturally, just like native speakers do. Your job? Listen carefully. Don't worry if you don't understand everything the first time. You can always rewind and listen again. Now, here's something powerful: shadow practice. Have you heard of it? Shadowing means repeating after me immediately, matching my tone, pronunciation, and speed. This helps you improve your accent and sound more fluent. When I break down important words and expressions later, I'll ask you to repeat them, so stay sharp and practice with me. Also, pay attention to pronunciation. Listen closely to how I stress certain words and how my voice rises and falls. This will help you sound more natural when you speak. All right, are you ready? Let's dive into today's interesting topic: why people love conspiracy theories. All right, let's get into it. Have you ever wondered why conspiracy theories are so fascinating? I mean, think about it. Some people spend hours watching videos, reading articles, and discussing these theories with friends. Why? Because conspiracy theories make the world seem more exciting. They offer explanations when things don't make sense. They make us feel like there's a hidden truth waiting to be uncovered. Now, let's be honest. We've all heard some wild ones, right? From secret societies controlling the world to theories about historical events being staged. But what draws people in? It's curiosity. People love a good mystery. Conspiracy theories give them that sense of suspense, like they're part of something big. Another reason is control. When life feels unpredictable, believing in a conspiracy gives people a sense of understanding. It feels like they've cracked a code others haven't. And let's not forget the sense of community. Discussing these theories brings people together. They share ideas, debate, and feel connected. But here's the thing: not all theories are harmless. Some can spread misinformation or create fear. That's why it's important to think critically. Ask yourself, does this theory have real evidence? Who benefits from it? Always question what you hear. Now, let's move into the breakdown section, where we'll explore some advanced words and expressions I used. This is your time to repeat with me, practice pronunciation, and improve your fluency. Ready? Let's go. First up, crack a code. This means figuring out something difficult or solving a mystery. Come on, repeat with me. Crack a code. Again, crack a code. One more time, crack a code. An example is, when I finally understood the math problem, it felt like I had cracked a code. Another example is, detectives work hard to crack the code behind complex crimes. And one more, learning English idioms can feel tricky, but once you crack the code, it gets easier. Next, sense of community. Say it with me, sense of community. Again, sense of community. One last time, sense of community. An example is, joining a language club gives you a strong sense of community. Another one, people who share hobbies often develop a sense of community. And here's another. Conspiracy theories create a sense of community among believers. Now that we've broken down a couple of important expressions, let's dive deeper into why conspiracy theories grab people's attention so powerfully. You see, part of it comes down to how our brains are wired. We're natural storytellers. We like things that have a beginning, a middle, and an end. But real life? It's messy. It doesn't always come with clear explanations. Conspiracy theories fill in those gaps. They give us neat stories, even if those stories aren't true. For example, when something big happens, like a famous person suddenly passing away or a major event shaking the world, people want reasons. Randomness makes us uncomfortable. We want to believe there's more to the story. So conspiracy theories step in, offering explanations that feel complete. But there's more. Conspiracy theories make people feel special, like they're in the know. It's almost like being part of a secret club. You're not like the ordinary people who believe the official version. You've seen behind the curtain. You've figured out the truth. And that feeling, it's addictive. Plus, the internet makes it super easy for these theories to spread. One video leads to another. One article links to more. Before you know it, you're deep in a rabbit hole, connecting dots that probably don't even belong together. It becomes this cycle where the more you read, the more convinced you become. But here's a question for you. How often do we stop to question whether what we're hearing is actually true? Do we fact check? Or do we just believe the most exciting version of the story? Think about that for a moment. All right, time for another breakdown. Let's focus on deep in a rabbit hole. Say it with me, deep in a rabbit hole. Again, deep in a rabbit hole. One more time, deep in a rabbit hole. This means getting completely absorbed in something, especially when researching or exploring a topic. Like when you start watching one video online, and hours later, you're watching something completely unrelated because you kept clicking. An example is, I started reading about healthy diets, and before I knew it, I was deep in a rabbit hole about ancient nutrition. Another example, he got deep in a rabbit hole of conspiracy videos last night. And one more, sometimes researching one topic leads you deep in a rabbit hole of endless information. Next up, connecting dots. Repeat after me, connecting dots. Again, connecting dots. One last time, connecting dots. This phrase means figuring out how different pieces of information relate to each other. It's like solving a puzzle where you see how everything fits together. For example, journalists connect dots when investigating a big story. Another one, it's easy to connect dots and see patterns that might not actually exist. And here's another. Conspiracy theories often involve connecting dots between unrelated events. Now that we've understood deep in a rabbit hole and connecting dots, let's explore why people continue believing conspiracy theories even when there's solid evidence against them. One major reason is something called confirmation bias. It's when people look for information that supports what they already believe and ignore anything that doesn't. For instance, let's say someone believes that the moon landing was fake. They'll search for articles and videos that claim it was staged and completely dismiss the mountains of evidence proving it was real. Why? Because it feels better to be right than to challenge what you think you know. Also, there's a sense of power in believing in something different. It's like thinking, I know the truth that others don't. That feeling, it boosts confidence. Plus, sharing these beliefs online can give people a sense of community. They find others who think the same way, and together they strengthen each other's beliefs. Now think about this. How many times have you read or heard something shocking and believed it instantly, only to later find out it wasn't true? Happens to all of us, right? This shows how quickly misinformation spreads, especially when it sounds interesting or unbelievable. But here's another twist. Sometimes people want to believe in conspiracy theories because the truth is too painful or boring. The idea that things happen randomly or due to human error isn't exciting. Conspiracy theories, on the other hand, offer drama, mystery, and purpose. All right, let's break down confirmation bias. Repeat after me, confirmation bias. Again, confirmation bias. One more time, confirmation bias. Confirmation bias happens when we only pay attention to information that supports what we already believe and ignore anything that doesn't. Here's an example. If you believe a certain diet is the best, you'll likely read only positive articles about it and ignore negative ones. Another example, conspiracy theorists rely heavily on confirmation bias. They only trust evidence that fits their story. And another, we all experience confirmation bias. It's part of how our brains work. Next, let's break down sense of community. Say it with me. Sense of community. Again, sense of community. One last time, sense of community. This means feeling connected to a group of people who share your interests, beliefs, or experiences. For example, online forums give conspiracy believers a strong sense of community. Another one, joining a club can give you a sense of community and belonging. And another, many people seek a sense of community when they feel isolated. Let's keep going. Another interesting idea is how conspiracy theories offer a sense of control in a chaotic world. When big, scary events happen, it's comforting to believe there's a reason behind them, even if that reason isn't true. So let's dive deeper. This idea of a sense of control is fascinating. When things feel uncertain, people naturally want explanations. Think about global events, pandemics, economic crashes, political scandals. They're huge, complicated, and frankly, scary. But conspiracy theories, they offer neat, simple explanations. They tell you, hey, this didn't just happen, someone's behind it. And that gives people comfort because randomness feels threatening. If something is random, it could happen to anyone, anytime. But if someone is in control, even if it's a shadowy figure, it gives people a weird sense of security. Also, conspiracy theories often make people feel smarter. Like, I figured out something the rest of the world doesn't know. That feeling? It's empowering. It feeds the ego and makes people feel special. Plus, it's addictive. The more you believe, the more you keep searching for proof that supports your beliefs. And have you noticed how these theories often involve big, powerful organizations, governments, tech giants, secret societies? It's always something larger than life. It's almost like a story: heroes, villains, hidden agendas. People love stories, especially dramatic ones. Another angle? Trust or the lack of it. When trust in institutions declines, people start looking elsewhere for answers. They turn to alternative sources, some reliable, some not so much. But if the alternative story is more exciting, well, guess which one they'll believe. All right, let's break down a sense of control. Repeat after me. A sense of control. Again, a sense of control. One more time, a sense of control. This means feeling like you have power or influence over what happens in your life or the world. An example is believing in conspiracy theories can give people a sense of control when the world feels chaotic. Another example, learning new skills gives you a sense of control over your future. And another one, planning your day gives you a sense of control and reduces anxiety. Now, let's look at feeding the ego. Repeat with me, feeding the ego. Again, feeding the ego. One last time, feeding the ego. This means boosting your self-esteem or making yourself feel more important. For example, believing you know secrets others don't can feed the ego. Another one, receiving compliments feeds the ego and boosts confidence. And another, some people brag to feed their ego and feel superior. We're getting deeper now. Let's talk about addictive behavior. Say it, addictive behavior. Again, addictive behavior. One more time, addictive behavior. This means actions that people keep doing repeatedly because they find them hard to stop. Here's an example. Constantly searching for conspiracy content online can become addictive behavior. Another, checking your phone every few minutes is also a form of addictive behavior. And another, binge-watching shows is common addictive behavior these days. Okay, still with me? Let's explore another interesting point: the storytelling nature of conspiracy theories. People love narratives, especially ones with twists, suspense, and powerful villains. And conspiracy theories? They give all that. All right, let's start wrapping this up. But hey, don't tune out just yet. We're not done. I want you to reflect on everything we've discussed so far. We explored how conspiracy theories give people a sense of control, how they feed the ego, and how they can lead to addictive behavior. Think about it. When life feels unpredictable, people cling to explanations even if they're wild. They want to feel in control. And honestly, who doesn't want to feel like they're in the know, right? It strokes the ego, makes you feel like you've got one up on everyone else. Plus, these theories can be so addictive, like a rabbit hole you can't stop falling into. But here's the thing. Understanding why people believe these theories helps us think critically. It's about asking the right questions. Does this make sense? Is there evidence? Why do I want to believe this? When you question your beliefs, you grow. Also, remember what I said earlier about stories? Humans are wired for them. We love narratives that explain the unexplainable, but sometimes the simplest answer is the right one. The world is complex, and not everything has a hidden agenda. Now, before I close, let's quickly revisit the key expressions we covered. I want you to repeat them with me one last time. Ready? A sense of control, feeding the ego, addictive behavior. One more time, a sense of control, feeding the ego, addictive behavior. Perfect. Before I go, let me remind you, practicing listening like this, really focusing, repeating, and shadowing improves not just your vocabulary, but your pronunciation and fluency too. So if you need to, rewind this episode, listen again, and shadow my words until they feel natural. I'll see you in the next episode of Learn Fluent English Pod. Until then, keep listening, keep practicing, and keep questioning.